I took my husband's phone to make a call and accidentally saw his correspondence with my daughter-in-law. When I read it, I couldn't believe my eyes. If you're watching this video, tell me where you're from or what time it is for you. Leonard set the salad bowl down and slid his phone across the counter. Can you send the photo of the centerpiece to the choir thread? He asked. Mine won't focus. It's your phone, I said. You'll do it faster, please. He smiled. I have croutons in the oven. I wiped my hands, picked up the phone, and the banner slid down before I touched anything. He'll never find out. Documents almost ready. My thumb froze on the glass. The sender's first name meant nothing to me. The second line hit harder. 60/40th split. My own phone buzzed in my pocket. My buyer's number for the Michigan Avenue closing. If I missed the call, months of work could unravel. If I took it, the message might vanish. If I read, the marriage I thought I had might do the same. I opened the message. The thread was brief, clinical, no emojis, no fluff. A final line after the Michigan Avenue close and a mention of papers routed cleanly. I scrolled, took in file names, and a stray phrase about moving assets without noise. Then the oven timer blared, and Leonard swore softly. I put his phone down where he'd left it and stepped into the dining room as my phone lit again. Dorothy, the buyer asked when I answered. We have a snag on the warranty language. Send it, I said. I'll redline while you talk. We went clause by clause. I kept my voice even, my pen steady, my eyes away from the kitchen door. The snag was small, the tone bigger than the problem. I nudged the lawyer, reframed a sentence, offered a non-monetary concession. We were back in the boat within 10 minutes. You always pull us through, the buyer said. That's my job, I said and hung up. Leonard came in with the salad and a practiced laugh. Crouton survived. You know, the choir director is turning me into logistics again. I said yes and then remembered I have yoga on Wednesdays. What a mess. He took his phone as if it weighed nothing. Did you send the picture? Not yet. I sat. I'll do it after we eat. Sure, he drizzled, dressing. Everything okay with the deal? Looks good. I kept my voice level. We're almost there. We ate. He described choir costumes like a general counting uniforms. I offered notes where expected. My bank app pinged under the table twice in a minute. I didn't reach for it. Leonard didn't ask. Halfway through, his phone chimed again. He glanced and flipped it over. My brother, he said. He never remembers time zones. He could text, I said. He does when he wants photos of the grandkids, Leonard said. I'll call him later. How's tomorrow look? Full, I said. We'll sign, then I'll head to the office to clear wire protocols. It's a lot of pieces. You love your pieces. He speared a cherry tomato and studied me. You look tired, Dorothy. I'll sleep after we close. I took a sip of water and set the glass down quietly. Did you change boutiques? I saw a new bag by the front door. Borrowed, he said. Ruby's friend brought props for the fundraiser. It's very north side. He smiled. Above our station. Hard to say, I said. Stations move. He reached for the bread. You're philosophical tonight. Just hungry. We cleared plates without the old rhythm, grazing past each other like polite strangers in a narrow hall. I rinsed, stacked, wiped. Leonard dried a single glass, then set the towel down mid-stroke. Choir asked me to coordinate seating at the fundraiser, he said. They want place cards. I'll need a decent printer. We have one. The ink streaks. I'll order cartridges. His smile landed light and brief. Thank you. We moved to the living room with coffee we didn't need. Leonard tucked his legs under him and scrolled. A laugh at something distant. A nod at nothing. I looked around our own room like a guest. Photos on the piano, a chipped blue bowl from a beach trip, the heavy bookends I'd bought at an estate sale because they reminded me of anchors. Yoga is still Wednesday? I asked. He kept scrolling. Sometimes Friday if I'm behind. Instructor still downtown, sometimes north side. He didn't look up. Depends on traffic. He was good and he always had been. But I had read what I had read. I stood. I'll send the centerpiece, I said. I took his phone to the kitchen, set it on the counter, and held my breath. No new banners, no new preview. I flicked to the camera roll, found the picture, and dropped it into the choir thread. I typed seats look clean, center fine, and hit send. The phone thumped back into my chest like a live thing. I breathed again. In the study, my own phone waited with bank alerts. Small charges, but off the usual path. Not groceries, not gas. Ubers at odd hours, a coffee chain we don't use. I opened the account and paged back. The pattern was new, just new enough to avoid house rhythm, not new enough to hide from someone who knows her own bills. Upstairs, I heard water run in the bathroom. I brought up the Michigan Avenue file, forced my attention to title commitments and a lien waiver that had arrived late. When the water shut off, I closed the window and opened a blank note. Hands suddenly still. He'll never find out. Documents almost ready. 60/40ths split after the Michigan Avenue close. Papers routed cleanly. I typed the exact words. I added nothing, changed nothing. I didn't write names. I didn't guess. I just set the words down as proof that I had seen them. Leonard came to the door in a robe. You're working. Reviewing, I said. It's easier while everyone's quiet. You're a machine. He leaned on the frame. Did you ever think about retiring after this one? We said we would once. We said we'd talk about it, I said. And we will after we close. He smiled as if he'd already won a point. After we close, he repeated. Good night. Good night. He left. I cleaned my inbox because function is a form of prayer. I pushed emails into folders until the screen looked almost righteous. When the house finally settled into its slow old creaks, I opened the file of our operating agreement and reviewed signature authority as if I hadn't seen it in years. I checked secondary signers, then the internal checklist I keep for events I hope never come. Nothing moved unless I moved it, but people move around paper if they want to. The doorbell rang at 9:20. I straightened. Listened. Leonard called down the stairs. Do you want me to? I've got it, I said. Our neighbor stood on the porch with a plate covered in foil. We had extra lasagna, she said. And I can't eat another bite. You'll get a medal for service, I said, taking the plate. Thank you. She leaned in. Conspiratorial. Saw Leonard north side today, she said. At that fancy building near the park, the one with the flowers always perfect. A downtown Chicago hotel? I asked lightly. That's the one, she said. I waved from the bus. He didn't see me. She laughed. If the choir fundraiser is there, tell them I'll fold napkins for a week. I'll pass it along, I said. You're kind. How's the big deal? She asked. You look thinner than your Christmas picture. 2 weeks of meetings does that to a woman, I said. We'll be fine. You always are. She waved and stepped off the porch with the assurance of someone who's known you long enough to believe in your durability. Back in the kitchen, I set the lasagna on the counter and wrote our neighbor's name on a sticky note so I wouldn't forget to return the plate. Leonard appeared. Mascara already off. Hair up. Ah, that was sweet of her. She said it was, I said. She saw you north side. Leonard didn't flinch. I told you, he said. Instructor moved some classes. The bus route goes past a downtown Chicago hotel, I said. Nice place for a fundraiser. Choir dreams big, he said. We're window shoppers with hymnals. His ease would have impressed me last year. Tonight, it just told me what I was up against. We went to bed at the same time and lay in the dark like two people waiting out a storm in different rooms. I tried to pray and found myself adding numbers instead. Wire cutoffs, courier schedules, contingencies if a tenant backed out at the last minute. Feelings followed facts with me. Always had. Dorothy. Leonard's voice floated in the dark. Do you ever feel like we're living in our house and our house is living somewhere else? That's poetic, I said. I didn't mean it that way, he said. I meant busy. You're always moving paper and I'm always moving people. We're good at what we do, I said. We have a fundraiser to prove it. He chuckled, then fell quiet. I listened to his breath find its pattern. I didn't check my note again. I knew every word in it. At dawn, I was up before the first sparrows chattered on the fence. Coffee, oatmeal, inbox. I printed the closing checklist and marked the 3 items that could kill a wire if someone mishandled them. I sent a message to our controller at the bank. Just a courtesy. I copied my own counsel with a question about a clause I'd already resolved. Ritual, ritual, ritual. Leonard came downstairs in running shoes and kissed the top of my head. Look at you, he said. Paper captain. Someone has to steer, I said. Choir needs centerpieces delivered at 9, he said. I'll take the SUV. I'll need it at 10, I said. Courier run to the downtown family court, then back to the office. He blinked. Court. Real estate filings, I said, and slid the checklist into my briefcase. Right. He tied his laces precise and quick. I'll be back by 9:30 or I can call Ruby and have her drive. Take it, I said. I'll make do. He stood in the doorway watching me. You're different, he said finally. I'm focused, I said. He waited for something kinder. I didn't have it. Text if you're late, I said instead. After he left, I checked the living room camera I installed after a break-in years ago. The angle caught the front hall, the door, the slice of driveway you could see through leaded glass. Leonard's contact had said, documents almost ready. I wasn't going to guess what documents. I was going to find them. I opened our shared cloud folder and typed fundraiser into the search. A seating chart popped up, a program file, an image of lilies, nothing else. I searched yoga, 1 flyer from last year, a schedule for a studio across town. I searched my own name, contracts, tax returns, the usual spine of a working life. I searched his, choir rosters, a spreadsheet of birthdays. The printer hummed through an ink test after I slid in a new cartridge. I printed the title page of the Michigan Avenue package and stood over it as if paper could confess. I checked our safe, then closed it and spun the dial with my thumb. How many years had I kept that combination in my head? If my life ever left tracks, they were grooves like this, habits worn smooth by time. The SUV pulled in at 9:28. Leonard carried in empty vases with the same calm cheer as always. Tell the florist the lilies looked good, he said, setting the vases on the island. She has an eye. I will, I said. Do you want anything special for dinner? He asked. I'll be late, I said. Don't wait. He hesitated. We could celebrate after. We will, I said. After we close. There it was again. After we close, the chorus under every exchange. I drove to the bank and shook hands with people who have known me long enough to trust me even when I bring them surprises. We confirmed wire instructions, repeated account numbers slowly, verified by a second channel like monks reciting the rule. The manager asked about proceeds. We expect 2 million, I answered, and signed where I was told to sign. At lunch, I ate alone at the corner of Grant Park near Lake Michigan and watched a runner stretch on a bench. My phone buzzed. Ruby asking if we could babysit Saturday night. Our daughter-in-law sending a thumbs up about something in a family group. Leonard forwarding a choir schedule with the little note, save this. I saved it. In the afternoon, the buyer's council called to grumble about a signature block, which gave me the pleasure of solving a petty problem efficiently. I was still good at this. The work felt clean when I did it right. The rest of my life, less so. On the way home, I took the long route up an avenue with shop windows I knew too well. A famous luxury jeweler Northside had a new display in the window, rings set low, classic, the kind you buy to promise renewal. I had bought Leonard 1 year ago in a season when we needed a fresh start. I stood on the sidewalk and studied the curve of the band I'd never seen on his finger. In the glass, my face looked like a woman trying to read a language she used to speak. The house smelled like lemon oil and effort. Leonard had set the table with our wedding china and a runner I didn't recognize. Candles waited unlit. "What's the occasion?" I asked. "I thought we could toast the end of the long march," he said. "If anyone deserves a white tablecloth, it's you." "I wear suits to work," I said. "White tablecloths feel like homework." He laughed. "Sit anyway. I made the roast you like." We ate again like actors who knew their blocking. All the lines sounded right. None of them did any work. I asked about the choir director. He asked about the buyer's shoes. We traded weather observations like stamps. After, Leonard lifted a candle to strike a match, then set it down unlit. "Let's save these," he said, "for after we close." I carried plates to the sink and felt the conversation resist me like a current in a river. I dried my hands and turned back toward him. "I have a question," I said. He looked up. "Shoot. Who are the documents for?" Silence slid between us like a tray. His chin tipped just a fraction. "What documents?" "You know which," I said. I kept my voice even. "The ones that are almost ready." His face didn't flicker. "Seating charts," he offered. "Programs." I read the banner, I said. I didn't move closer. I didn't go farther than that. "You read my phone," he said. The hurt was practiced, a thing he could pick up and put down as needed. "Dorothy, that's not like you." "No," I said. "It isn't. What did it say that you think you understand?" He folded his arms. "Because if this is about choir, I swear." "It said 60/40th split," I said. "And after the Michigan Avenue close." He rubbed his temple with 2 fingers. "A budget split," he said. "Volunteer funds versus ticket sales. You don't know our code words." "You're going to need a better one," I said. "And a better lie." He let his hand drop. For a second, I thought I saw the plan behind his eyes go taut like a cable. Some silent calculation, adjusting to this new load. Then he smiled the way you smile at a dear friend who has finally said something ridiculous. "You're tired," he said gently. "I can feel it from here." "I'm alert," I said. "Then we can talk after tomorrow," he said, the smile turning warmer. "No need to fight on the edge of a win." "I'm not fighting," I said. "I'm asking." "Ask me anything after," he said, and reached for the matches again, as if one ritual could restart the evening. "You'll see this isn't what you think." I watched the match scrape, flare, and die when he shook it out too quickly. A small failure. He laughed and struck another. The wick caught. I held his gaze for a beat longer than habit allowed and felt the old reflex to apologize for things I didn't do. I put the plates away instead. Later, after he slept, I stood in the hall with the house dim around me and texted Marcus. "Can you meet me early before your first client? I need your eyes on something." His reply came quicker than I deserved. "At the cafe by the church. 7 works." I opened my note one last time and read the words again to make sure I hadn't invented them in the heat of a long day. I hadn't. In the quiet, I said it out loud to the empty hall just to hear what truth sounded like in my own voice. "Marcus, what I'm about to show you will change everything." I woke before the alarm and made coffee the way I always did. Scale, scoop, water to the line. Ritual steadied my hands. Leonard came down tying his robe. "Early again," he said. "You never stop." "Closing days don't like sleep," I said. He opened the fridge and stared into the light. I might try a new class today. The instructor is offering something more focused. Still on Wednesdays? I asked. Today's a bonus. He smiled without showing teeth. Keeps me honest. I'm meeting Marcus before work, I said. 7. Cafe by the church. Leonard's hand paused on the milk. Oh, that's early. He asked, I said, and poured him a cup. You're welcome to join. He has clients, Leonard said. I'll see him later. He sipped, then set the mug down exactly on the coaster. Tell him the lilies were perfect. I will. He watched me for a beat, then found the jam. What's wrong? He asked lightly. Your face is doing the math thing. I'm doing math, I said. It's almost over. After we close, he said softer now. We'll take a trip. Maybe, I said. He folded his arms, then unfolded them. Don't bring work to breakfast with our son. Today, I'm bringing family to breakfast with our son, I said. His smile thinned. You're defensive. You're projecting, I said, and regretted it as soon as it left my mouth. He let the word pass like a fish he didn't want. I'll be at class, he said, turning away. Don't worry if I don't reply. I won't, I said. The cafe was quiet enough to hear spoons touch ceramic. Marcus took the seat across from me, hair cut fresh, jacket already off like a person ready to work. You said early, he leaned in. What's wrong? I unlocked my phone and slid it across. I read a banner on your father's phone last night. You read a banner? His eyes flicked once toward the door, then stayed with me. What did it say? He'll never find out. Documents almost ready. Marcus didn't blink. From who? A first name I didn't recognize, I said. Thread mentioned a 60-40 split after the Michigan Avenue close. Papers routed cleanly. 60/40ths what? He asked. Budget, choir. I paused. It didn't smell like choir. It smelled like a plan. He drew a slow breath, then let it out through his nose. Do you have anything else? Not yet, I said. Odd charges, patterns shifting. He's careful. Dad's always careful, Marcus said. He never leaves the mess on the counter. I didn't accuse him of anything, I said. I'm telling you what I saw. Marcus put his hand around his cup and didn't drink. Okay, he said. We do this the right way. The right way is quiet, I said. No scenes, no tipping people off. Rules, he said, nodding once. Say them out loud. Rule 1, I said. We don't confront until we have paper and pictures, not impressions. Good, he said. 2. 2 phones down at home. If he asks what we're doing nothing. 3, Marcus said, tapping the table. We document everything. Calendar, receipts, routes. If he moves, we know. 4, I said. We keep our circle small. Just us, Marcus said. And a professional. I hesitated. He didn't. Mom, he said. We need a PI. I don't like the idea of watching your father, I said. I don't like the idea of being an errand in his spreadsheet, Marcus said. If this is what I think it is, Dad is using me. He's moving your business through me. The words landed harder than the coffee. That's a leap. It's a pattern, he said. If he files after you close, he'll point to gifts, help, partnership, all the things he can write down that look like his. I know someone, I said. Tenant dispute years ago. She was quiet and thorough. Call her, he said. Today. I nodded. We'll need your schedule. If you take lunches with Diana, tell me when. If Dad asks you to deliver anything, take a picture. He smirked. Diana can order her own sandwiches, but I'll look. And Marcus, I said, you don't have to be in this. He laughed once, dry. I'm in this because I'm in this. You didn't bring me here. He did. I took out a small notebook. Old habit. We lined up the hours, my closing, his clients, safe windows to meet the PI, the choir fundraiser timeline. He pulled up Dad's shared calendar on his phone and held it so we both could see. Yoga 11 to 1, Marcus said. Today. Today. I asked. Today, he said. He never blocks that long. Take a screenshot, I said. Email it to yourself. He did. Quick and neat. Mom, he added, thumb hovering. It says north side. Of course it does, I said. We set our mugs in the bus bin like two people ending an ordinary chat. Near the door, Marcus stopped me with a hand on my sleeve. One more rule, he said quietly. No apologies for what we didn't do. If he tries to bend your kindness, you don't let him. He's your father, I said. He's the one writing instructions, Marcus said. We're the ones reading them. On the sidewalk, my phone pinged with a bank alert. A new external payee had been added and then removed. A small transfer attempt had failed, flagged by the system, an automatic safety I'd set up and forgotten. I sent a message to our branch manager. Confirm any new payees require my verbal authorization. No exceptions. He responded with a thumbs up and a call me if you see anything else. I called the PI from my car. It's Dorothy, I said when she answered. I need you for a family matter. Discretion, speed. She didn't ask why. Meet downtown, I said. 30 minutes. We sat in a booth near the back of a diner where the coffee tasted like coffee and the waitresses called everyone friend. She listened without nodding, without the little noises people make when they want you to feel heard. When I finished, she took out a small legal pad. You want locations, she said. Times. Associates. You want it packaged for a judge if it goes that way. I want the truth, I said. She looked over her glasses. Same thing if I do my work. Keep my name off anything that moves until I say otherwise, I said. And don't use my home address for any drop. Done, she said. You'll pay a retainer. Of course. She slid a one-page form over the table. Sign here. I'll start today. I read every line. She watched me read every line. I signed. Anything else? She asked. His schedule says yoga at 11 North Side, I said. If he's not in a studio, I want to know where he is. She didn't smile. That's the job, she said. At 11:15, while I was on a call about title exceptions, Marcus's text flashed. He took the SUV. North Entrance Lake at 10:50. Then no pings until 11:12. I think he turned off location sharing. I typed only, got it. Eyes up. The buyer's counsel droned on. I kept him talking while I forwarded the timestamps to the PI with a short note. Start here. She sent back a single check mark. At noon, my inbox chimed with an HOA email. Reminder, overnight guest vehicles must be registered in advance. I almost deleted it, then saw the line in small type. Unregistered vehicle observed in your driveway last night between 8:10 p.m. and 9:05 p.m. Please update your file if this is an approved guest. A partial plate was listed. I forwarded the notice to myself and printed it. Then I called the HOA office. This is Dorothy, I said. Can you confirm the plate again? The woman read it back. Newer sedan, she added. Dark color. Our patrol logs don't give make or model. Thank you, I said. We'll update our file. I ended the call and sat with my palms flat on the desk. I hadn't noticed a car when the neighbor brought lasagna. That didn't mean anything. It also didn't mean nothing. At 1, the bank called to confirm the failed transfer. Looks like an outside account tried to link, the manager said. 2 micro deposits were attempted and blocked. From which bank? I asked. A community bank in the Midwest, he said. I can't see the name, just the routing region. Lock it down, I said. Nothing new moves without me. And put a note on the file. Call me if anyone mentions travel, settlement, or changes to beneficiaries. Understood, he said. You still expecting 2 million on the wire tomorrow? That's the number, I said. You want a room for signing? He asked. I'll come to you, I said. No detours, no handoffs. See you then, he said. I sent Marcus a simple status. Bank flag, HOA note. Keep breathing. He replied with a photo from Dad's shared calendar. An entry added in the afternoon titled classes with no location, blocking from 4 to 6. Classes plural, I said when he called. Ambition grows, Marcus said. Diana just texted me a laughing emoji about nothing. She does that when she's nervous. Don't answer, I said. I won't, he said. Also, Dad asked if I could help him print place cards tonight. He wants me there at 5. That's right inside his new block, I said. Do I go? Marcus asked. Go, I said. But don't print. Watch. Take pictures of anything he lays out. If he asks you to run an errand, call me first. Mom, he said, voice low. If he really is doing this through me, I'm going to be furious. You're allowed to be, I said. Just be careful. Leonard called at 4:30. I let it ring twice, then answered. Dinner plan? He asked too bright. I'll eat at the office, I said. That's a shame, he said. I was thinking steak, a celebration for the almost. We'll celebrate after, I said. Always after, he said. I could pick you up. We could drive. Just the two of us. No phones. Not tonight, I said. A pause. Are you avoiding me? I'm working, I said. You said you had classes. Don't make that tone, he said quietly. It's not kind. I don't have a tone, I said, and wished again for better words. Bring milk if you come home, he said, the brightness snapping back in place. The choir ladies go through it like locusts. I'll see, I said. At 5, Marcus texted a photo from our dining room. Vases moved, printer on the sideboard, stacks of blank cardstock. A second photo showed Dad's laptop open to a template site. A third was a quick shot of a manila folder half under a magazine. I zoomed in until the pixels broke apart. A tab read retainer. Don't move it, I wrote. Just mark where it sits. Edge of magazine. Take a wider shot. She sent the wider shot. The folder was still there. Leonard's hand appeared at the frame edge, nails polished in a color he never wore before this year. He's sweet now, Marcus texted. Too sweet. He just offered me tea and called me Busy Bee. Say you have a client at 6, I wrote. Leave on the minute. Copy. Marcus wrote. He's printing place cards, names I don't know. He set one aside that says Maya. I saved the photos to a new folder with a plain name I'd remember fast. The PI's update arrived an hour later, brief as a ledger. Subject entered downtown Chicago hotel at 11:26. Met female, athletic build, mid-30s. Left at 12:41. Photos forthcoming. No names, no guesses, just a time and a place. At 7, I drove home under a sky the color of dull steel. The dining room still smelled like paper dust and lemon oil. The printer light blinked. A small heap of place cards lay neatly fanned, each name centered, each letter perfect. Maya's card sat on the edge of the stack, slightly skewed. Leonard came in from the kitchen, wiping his hands. You didn't bring milk, he said, mock scolding. I forgot, I said. Long day. Mine too, he said. I had 2 classes. My legs are jelly. He tilted his head. Don't look at me like that. Like what? I asked. Like I'm a witness, he said. You said it, I said. And now you're repeating me, he said. Is this fun for you? No, I said. It isn't. He took a step closer. Is Marcus upset about something? He left in a hurry. He wouldn't say. He had a client, I said. Leonard studied my face the way you study a page you don't want to sign. Don't drag him into whatever this is, he said. He has enough. He's our son, I said. He's already in it. Leonard's jaw worked once. You used to tell me everything, he said. You used to not make me earn it, I said. For a second, the air between us felt like old glass, solid until it didn't hold. He recovered first, stepped back, and smoothed the runner with both hands as if aligning a seam. We're not enemies, he said. We're married. We can fix anything if we're kind. We can fix what's true, I said. Kindness comes after that. He glanced at the clock and put on a smile like a coat. I have to take these to the church, he said. The director will panic if I'm late. He gathered the place cards into a stack, squared the edges, and slipped them into a box with a sigh that sounded like generosity. Drive safe, I said. He stood in the doorway, the box against his hip. Dorothy, he said softer. After we close, let's go away. Just us. No choir, no buyers, no kids. We can be new. After we close, I said. We'll see. He left. The door clicked with the sound of a habit executed perfectly. I sat in the quiet and let my hands rest flat on the table. The house always told the truth when nobody was talking. The truth tonight was paper dust, a retainer tab, and place cards naming people I didn't eat with. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Home. He was butter until the door, then ice. Did you get PI update? Yes, I wrote. Enough to keep going. Good, he wrote. I'm done letting him borrow my life like a purse. A second message followed before I could answer. We start tonight. Don't let Dad see you watching him. Leonard beat me to the kitchen and had the good morning voice ready. Big day, he asked, buttering toast like it was an exhibit. Bigger than average, I said. Wires, signatures, watchful eyes. He slid a plate toward me. I could come by the bank after. We could walk by the fountain like we used to. Bank days are crowded, I said. You'll be bored. I'm never bored with you, he said and tapped the counter twice. A little rhythm he used when he wanted to end a topic and keep the feeling. My phone buzzed on the table. A new message from Tonya Chen. No words, just a thumbnail. Leonard stepping through the revolving door of a downtown Chicago hotel. Another thumbnail. The same door 40 minutes later. Leonard exiting with a woman whose posture said gym before it said office. A third, Leonard alone at the curb, looking both ways with the composure of someone who expects a car to find her. What's that? He asked lightly. Title binder, I said, sliding the phone face down. We're aligning pages. Such glamour. His smile held. Do you want me to iron your blue shirt? It photographs well. I'll manage, I said. He hesitated. Do you ever feel like you don't need me anymore? I looked up and kept my voice gentle. I need the truth, I said. Everything else is negotiable. His eyes cooled, then brightened again as if someone had turned up a dimmer. Then the truth is I'm making you an omelette, he said, and took eggs from the fridge. We ate like colleagues. He left for classes on time. I left for the bank early with my briefcase heavier than usual and my phone warmer than it should have been. At the branch, I went through my rituals. Two-factor calls, confirmation threads, redundant printouts no one would thank me for until something went wrong. The manager handed me a conference room and a stack of signature flags. I signed, slid, signed again. Paper behaved because I asked it to. Between signatures, Tonya's second message arrived. Subject arrived 11:23. Companion. Same female as yesterday. Met in cafe inside hotel. Seated corner. No physical contact observed. Left 12:11. A line below. Video stills attached. The stills were clean enough to be moral. Cup handles, shoulder angles, a hand floating over a check, the kind of footage everyone can explain until timestamps meet other timestamps. I opened a second window and brought up our joint card statements for the last 3 months. Large items hid like whales among groceries and utilities. I filtered by merchant name and date. The system delivered a neat ladder. Ride shares clustered around the same hours. Cafe charges inside that hotel at noon and a recurring line item labeled with a Wellness LLC I didn't recognize. The memo field on our bank's export had captured the merchant's own note. $3,000 monthly. My throat went dry. The number stayed plain on the screen, a bare integer and a word doing more work than a paragraph. I copied the list into a spreadsheet I would use in front of a judge only if forced. The buyer's counsel stepped in talking before the door closed. We've got a hiccup with the indemnity, Dorothy. My client wants a longer tail. You can have 2 years, I said. Not 5. He opened his mouth to object. My phone buzzed again. Marcus. I held up a finger to the lawyer and answered. I'm with counsel, I said. 2 minutes. This won't take one, he said under his breath. I'm outside Diana's building. I brought lunch. She thinks I'm sweet. You are, I said. Also, be careful. I will. If she leaves her office, I'll ask where the napkins are. Don't dig, I said. Let gravity do it. Her laugh was a single exhale. Copy. I hung up and gave counsel his 2 minutes. We settled at 2 years and an escrow haircut. He left with the satisfaction of getting something, which was its own commodity. Another message from Tonya. A drive log with timestamps, street names partially blurred, and a short note. No tail back to residence. Subject took ride share. I answered. Library drop at 3. She liked it. We had agreed. Paper in my hand, not in my inbox too long. At 11, my cell rang with an unfamiliar number. This is Judith from your supplemental plan, the voice chirped. Quick verification of your Medicare premium update. I didn't request an update, I said, capping my pen. Oh. She paused, the way clerks do when they find the wrong file. We have a note to move billing to a different account ending. She read the last 4 digits and waited, hopeful. That's not mine, I said. Please note, no changes without my verbal authorization. Today's call is my authorization to lock the file down. Yes, Mrs. Johnson, she said, cheerful and completely wrong about my last name. Locked down. I corrected her quietly. She apologized. We ended nicely. I wrote the call down in the same neat hand I used for wire instructions. Paper isn't loyal. Paper is obedient. It will go where it is sent. At noon, I walked 2 blocks for a sandwich and answered messages in the shadow of a glass building that felt like a prop. Marcus's text landed while I was wiping mustard off my cuff. She stepped out to take a call, he wrote. I set the bag on her desk. She had a red well open, drafts with letterhead from a North Side family law firm. My name is on a sticky note, through Marcus. There's a timeline drawn in the margin, after the close. I leaned against the wall until the world stopped tilting. Pictures, I typed. Got one of the red well before she came back, he wrote. Another of the sticky. Blurry, but you can read through. Get out now, I wrote. Thank her for letting you drop lunch. Already did, he wrote. She said I'm an angel. I said I know. I put my phone away and walked back to the bank like a woman carrying something fragile. The manager saw my face and handed me water without a question. I signed 3 more pages and asked for a copy of everything in a slim envelope. At 3, Tonya texted, library. I left the bank and took the long way to a public building with more marble than books. She was in the back wearing a jacket a shade more anonymous than the chairs. No greeting. She slid a folder across the table. Photos, she said. Times, routes, receipts where possible. Your subject moves clean. He always has, I said. She nodded once. Companion is consistent trainer type. Pays cash when convenient, card when not. You'll see patterns. I opened the folder and let the first page speak. Leonard's profile at the cafe table. Then his hand on a menu. Then his mouth mid-sentence. The companion's face in quarter view. A watch with a distinctive band. The build of a woman who counts reps out loud. The timestamp on the photo matched the cafe charge on our statement. Below a screen grab of our card ledger with the same minute. You'll need this tie-in, Tonya said. Judges like clocks. I like clocks, I said. There's more. She turned a page, a series of shots in the hotel lobby. Leonard's hand on the glass door, the companion's bag over her shoulder, then a blank space, and a line typed in Tonya's tidy all caps. No further observation. Subject entered guest elevators. No photos taken. I respected her more for the gap. Careful, I said. Professional, she said. You'll also want the ride-share pattern. It's clean. Drivers, times, same block, different corners. She gave me a second packet. The recurring expense sheet sat on top. And there it was again. $3,000 monthly to the Wellness LLC. Under it, clips of a website with a blurry mission statement about peak performance and discreet personal training. Your subject is clever, she said. He calls it health money. I call it a bill, I said. She slid a final envelope across the table. This is why you hired me. I followed the companion to a gym in a different neighborhood. She has a name. You can see it on the cubby list and the trainer board. I didn't open the envelope yet. Keep your copy, I said. Don't send me her last name until I ask. Understood, she said. You want anything else? Yes, I said. If my daughter-in-law's name surfaces near any of this, I want a copy of the page it's on. Tonya's face didn't move. You think she's building the paperwork? I think someone is, I said. If it's her, I want the handwriting. Tonya nodded. You'll get it. We shook like people who plan to speak again soon. I took the folder to my car and sat with it on the passenger seat, the way you sit with a sleeping child. Watchful, careful, sad. Marcus called as I turned the key. I made it out, he said. Diana never noticed the photo. She did notice me noticing her when she said she had a meeting at 4 North Side. She's not supposed to tell you that, I said. She thinks I'm applauding, he said. I asked what to wear for the choir fundraiser. She said black hides a lot. You're not a stagehand, I said. I'm a son, he said. Different uniform. Go home, I said. Lock your door. Send me the photos from her desk. He did one by one. The red well tab read, draft petition, proposed division. The letterhead was a North Side family law firm with a reputation for steel under a smile. The sticky note was exactly as he had said. Through Marcus. In the margin, a line arrowing from close to file, the word after underlined twice. I pulled into the driveway and saw Leonard's car already there. Not on the calendar. Not on the plan. I grabbed the folder and braced. The door opened before I reached it. You're early, he said, stepping aside. I was going to call you. You still can, I said. We need to talk about Saturday, he said, turning toward the kitchen. The choir director wants me to host the donors at our table for a quick thank you before the program. It's silly, but she thinks I'm good with people. You are, I said, when you want to be. He set a cutting board on the island and put a knife next to it. That sounded like a compliment that lost its way. It was a compliment, I said. The rest can wait. No, he said, looking up. It can't. I'm tired of you acting like I'm a suspect. I kept my hands on the envelope edge, not on the envelope itself. Then don't act like one. He stared at the envelope. What's that? Work. Show me, I said. No, I said. You show me. Show me the part where you tell me what I should already know. His chin tilted. You're being unkind again. I'm being exact, I said. He wiped the knife clean, though he hadn't cut anything. You know what, Dorothy? I don't like this version of you. I don't like this version of us, I said. We stood in the middle of our own kitchen like witnesses trying to decide if the other was trustworthy. He broke first, rolling his shoulders and finding that little smile again. Let's not do this on the eve of a milestone, he said. We have blessings. We should act like it. Acting is your word, I said. He set the knife down carefully, lined up with the edge of the board, and left the room. The confrontation had started with him. It ended with him choosing not to end it. My phone buzzed the second he hit the stairs. Tonya. Heads up. Subject doubled back at 2:10 today. I moved positions. Near miss. All clean. A second message included a wide shot. Leonard turned halfway down the block, eyes scanning like a lifeguard. Tonya had caught his reflection in a polished pillar, her camera pointed at a gallery window. Professional. I took the envelope to the study and locked the door. I spread the photos in a grid, slid our card statements under the relevant frames, and put a small sticky note between each pair with the date and minute. I called my attorney's office and left a simple message. No urgency, but I may need to book time post-close for a family matter. I didn't say which attorney. I didn't need a name yet. The front door opened and closed again. Leonard called, I forgot my charger, and drifted past the study. The handle didn't turn. A minute later, the door opened again and shut with his practiced efficiency. Marcus texted, Dad just doubled back by Diana's office. PI caught it, I wrote. He adjusted. Good, he wrote. She can dance. So can we. I worked until the room felt like a file. When my eyes blurred, I made coffee I didn't need. The house creaked the way old houses do when weather changes. I checked our front camera for the timestamp of Leonard's early return and logged it in the same hand as everything else. At 7, Marcus called again without hello. I went to drop a sweater at Dad's before he left, he said, voice low. He had a binder open. He slammed it shut when he saw me. What color? I asked. Blue tabs. A label stuck crooked. Did you see words? I asked. A flash, he said. Read something. I think retainer. There were 2 copies. Don't reach for them, I said. Just tell me. I did tell you, he said. Also, he asked me if I thought he looked tired. I said yes. I wanted to say more. Save it, I said. Mom, he added softer. Do we win this? We tell the truth, I said. Winning is what happens when the truth has paper. At 8, the doorbell rang. My neighbor again, an apology in her hands. This time a cake she said she had misfrosted. If you guys don't eat it, I'll freeze it, she said. The choir posted the fundraiser link. Leonard looks happy in the photo. He's good at happy, I said. Most people are good at pretending, she said kindly. The trick is being good at stopping. After she left, I set the cake on the counter and texted Marcus a photo of nothing important. The cake, the knife beside it, the empty table. He sent back a photo of his own kitchen, a mug, a lamp, the corner of a red well peeking from his tote. Our lives in squares. Leonard came home at 9:30 with a bunch of daisies from a grocery store and the kind of tired you perform with your shoulders. The director is a tyrant, he said cheerfully. I may stage a quiet coup. You'll be good at it, I said. You think I'm scheming, he said. I think you're effective, I said. It's a compliment. He unpacked the flowers and found a vase without asking me where we keep them. Do you want some cake? He asked as if this were a house where cake solved anything. Maybe later, I said. We can't keep doing this, he said suddenly. The warmth dropped. The truth came up, sharp as a fresh edge. You stalk me around our own kitchen with questions. You walk in like a detective. You make our son nervous. He made himself useful, I said. I didn't make him anything. He's not your paralegal, Leonard said. He's mine, I said. He's ours, I said, and the word landed with a weight neither of us could hold. He stared, then blew out a breath that could have been a laugh if it wanted to be. You're impossible tonight, he said. I'm going to bed. Sleep well, I said. He stopped in the doorway. Dorothy, he said without turning. Whatever story you're writing, make me honest in it. That's exactly the plan, I said. He went upstairs. The last sticks of daylight finally let go. I cleaned the counter like I could polish the past out of it. My phone lit my face. Marcus. Mom. She left her desk for 10 minutes. I went back for my sunglasses and took a clearer shot. It's not a sticky anymore. It's a header on a draft. She's marked your business assets, through me. I spread everything on the study table and made a map. Left column, Tonya's photos with timestamps. Middle, card statements showing cafe charges and $3,000 monthly to the Wellness LLC. Right, Marcus's shots from Diana's desk. A red well tab reading draft petition, proposed division, and a header on page 2 with the line through Marcus arrowed into a box labeled business assets. In the margin, timeline, after close. I printed the page with the header twice and set one copy aside for my attorney. The other I slid under the cafe still with the matching minute. When clocks agree, stories lose room. The door frame took a shadow. Leonard leaned in with a soft smile. You're building a fort, he said. Should I bring tea or rope? Neither, I said. He stepped in, palms open. I thought about us last night, he said. After we close, let's book a week somewhere quiet. No choir, no phones, fresh start. A trip won't change a ledger, I said. He touched a corner of the table. Ledger, he repeated. You're so crisp when you're unhappy. I'm precise when it matters. It matters that we don't turn into enemies, he said. It matters that you remember I'm on your side. Are you? I asked. He held my eyes for a long beat, then let them go. Work, he said lightly and left me to it. I called Marcus. I have the header photo printed, I said. It's in the draft, through Marcus, timeline after the close. I saw enough to make me nauseous, he said. If this is what it looks like, I'm done with her. You don't have to decide today. I decided, he said. If she's co-authoring this, I divorce Diana. Full stop. I didn't argue. We build clean. Everything dated, everything paired, no adjectives. Copy, he said. I'll scan the red well pages at the office between clients. High resolution. If she asks, I was looking for a pen. Don't overplay, I said. I won't, he said. Mom, yes. Thank you for not pretending this is nothing. Thank you for refusing to be used, I said. I made a new folder on my drive named with a date-shifted string no one would guess. Inside it, subfolders, photos, statements, drafts, calls. I typed a short index like a table of contents. A judge would need one. So would I. Then I started locking doors only I could see. First, the bank. I called our manager and our controller in a three-way and spoke as if the room had cameras. Effective immediately, I said. No wires or transfers without dual verbal authorization from me and the controller. No exceptions. If anyone references travel, settlement, or beneficiaries, call me on a landline. Understood, the manager said. We'll add a hard note. Also, I said, remove all secondary approvals related to operating accounts until I reinstate them in writing. That will slow you down, the controller said gently. Good, I said. Speed isn't my friend this week. Second, corporate governance. I opened the operating agreement I'd reviewed in the night and drafted an internal memo. Temporarily suspend unilateral approvals for asset disposition. Require board acknowledgement for any movement of core holdings. I sent it to outside counsel with a single line. Implement today. Confirm by end of day. Third, custody. I arranged a new safe deposit box at a branch across town, not the one we use, and placed the original stock ledgers and a flash drive of our current tenant roster inside. Paper behaves. Keep it where hands can't. At 10, my accountant called. 2 quick things, Dorothy. 1. Congratulations in advance. 2. Classification on a luxury jeweler charge. It's $500. Looks like a gift. You want me to mark it personal or categorize it as expense? Personal, I said. And send me the receipt image. He clicked. Done. Had another note here. Someone tried to update mailing on the K1 packet. I left it as is. Thank you, I said. Keep hands off unless I touch it. Always, he said. I hung up and pulled the jeweler receipt from the email a minute later. The memo field was blank, the timestamp nestled between a cafe bill and an afternoon rideshare. I laid the image next to Tonya's noon still. A neat run. Coffee, ring, gym. At 11:30, our insurance broker's assistant called with a chipper tone. Mrs. Johnson. Quick question. Your husband asked about adding a rider to the collector policy, new operator, and a mileage bump. Just confirming you want that. No, I said. No changes at all. Lock the file and put a note to call me if anyone asks again. Copy, she said, good-natured confusion creeping in. He sounded sure. He is often sure, I said. Thanks for checking. I logged both calls. If Leonard was testing doors, they made noise now when they moved. Marcus sent scans around noon. The Red Wells table of contents, the first page of a petition draft, the sticky note recreated as a typed header, and a pencil timeline. Close file, temporary orders with arrows underlined twice. Good work, I wrote. Eat. She sent a picture of a sandwich he wasn't finishing and then a message. She asked if I wanted her to talk to you. False savior voice. What did you say? I said, Mom can talk, he wrote. She said, I'm here if you need backup. I smiled like a fool and said, thanks. Let her think she's helpful, I wrote. We get more paper that way. My phone lit with Tonya's voice at 1. You'll want to see today's stack, she said. I have forms your daughter-in-law printed. Same letterhead as the Red Well. Annotations in her hand. Where? I asked. Copy center near her office, she said. Box under the counter with their ticket on it. I got the clerk to reprint the cover sheet for my records. You'll see her name on the job. Paper in chain of custody, I said. You're good. Thank you. Bar complaint, she said, sliding a second folder into my hands. Filed this afternoon with exhibits. The copy center ticket, the draft header through Marcus, and the email to Chambers. It isn't vengeance, it's housekeeping. Tonya tipped 2 fingers in a quiet salute and peeled off toward the exit. She had the look of a person who disappears when the job changes shape. By mid-afternoon, the signed order hit Harriet's inbox and mine. The subject line was a simple order signed, Johnson. She printed 2 extra and handed one to Marcus. You keep it, she said. If anyone tries to move you through a plan again, show them this. He folded it like a map and slid it into his tote. I will, he said. The dinner. I ironed the white cloth and set our wedding china like an apology. Forks straight, glasses clear, candles ready but unlit. The banker's box sat on a chair beside me. 5 manila folders waiting like courses. Leonard watched from the doorway with a smile that had seen rehearsals. You always were good with lines, he said. Do you want the blue candles or white? White, I said. Less theater. He carried them in, setting each with careful fingertips. I made the roast you like, he said. And a small cake. It seemed kinder. We can be kind, I said. We must be true. He touched the back of a chair. You've made the room so formal. Should I change? Wear what you like, I said. The paper won't change. He studied me. Then he reached for a match, struck it, and lit only one candle. A little light, he said. Not a spotlight. Marcus arrived first, jacket over his arm, face set for work. I hugged him in the hall. He untensed, but didn't relax. Rule check, he whispered. Facts first, I said. Questions, no adjectives. He nodded. She's 10 minutes behind me, he said. She texted parking. Which car? I asked. Hers, he said. No guest tonight. Diana came in with a bottle of wine and her best daughter-in-law grin. Look at this, she said, holding the label up as if it mattered. A little celebration for the big week. Thank you, I said, and set it on the sideboard unopened. Leonard floated from the kitchen with bread still warm. Sit, he said. Let me fuss over my people. We sat. He poured water like a ceremony and took his place at the head of the table, which used to be mine. Diana raised her glass. To family, she said, and to Dorothy, who closes more than doors. Marcus took a sip and set his glass down evenly. I did the same. Leonard's eyes shone. To beginnings after endings, he said softly, and drank. We ate the first course like polite strangers. Diana told a short story about a client with an impossible deadline. Leonard laughed on cue. I nodded where expected and watched Marcus watch her. After the plates were cleared, Leonard stood with the roast and made a show of carrying it himself. Look, he said. We still do this, right? It's beautiful, I said. Thank you. He carved thin slices on porcelain. The smell was generous. The silence kept up. Diana complimented the seasoning twice. Marcus asked her how her day had gone. Busy, she said as if the word were currency. I had to run to the copy center. Boring. Then I met a friend for a quick thing north side. Nothing interesting. Which copy center? Marcus asked casual. The usual, she said. By my office. She looked at me. Dorothy, I've been thinking about your travel after the close. I know a firm that can handle. We're not traveling, I said. We're eating. She smiled. I folded my napkin and set it left of the plate. Before dessert, I said, and reached for the banker's box. I brought something else. Leonard's smile moved an inch and stopped. Oh, 5 courses, he said. I lifted the first folder and set it on the table. Photos. Dorothy, Leonard said, light as thread. Is this necessary? I think so, I said. I opened to the top sheet, a wide still of the hotel cafe, Leonard's profile in clean light, the companion's watch catching the same. The timestamp sat in the corner. Diana leaned in. What is this? Tuesday, I said. Noon. A cafe inside the downtown Chicago hotel. You can see the clock over the bar. Leonard studied the photo like it belonged to someone else. I met with a trainer, he said. Fitness consult. You've been telling me to take care of myself. I turned a page, a second still. The same table, a different minute. Another consult, I said. Wednesday. Good fitness plans evolve. We did 2 sessions, he said. It's not a trial. Marcus kept his eyes on the photos. Then why the hotel cafe? The studio is nearby, Leonard said calmly. She had another client. It was easy. Strange place for burpees, Marcus said. Not everyone needs burpees, Leonard said. I set the second folder on top of the first. Statements, I said, and slid a printed ledger between plates. The line items formed a ladder any judge could climb. Cafe charges, ride shares, and this. I tapped the recurring expense to the Wellness LLC. $3,000 monthly. Leonard didn't blink. It's a program, he said. Comprehensive. Food, training, mental health. We spend more on coffee. Not like this, I said. Not every month. Diana rubbed her jaw. It's his health, she said, softening her voice by a notch. If he wants to invest. Do not manage me, Marcus said. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Drink your water. She took a sip. I placed the third folder. Drafts, I said. The Redwell shots, the copy center receipt with her name, the header from page 2, through Marcus. Diana blinked as if she'd walked into sun. What is this? Your job ticket, I said. And the page you printed, the arrow, the timing, after the close. She shook her head. Scenario planning, she said quickly. You asked me for models last month, remember? For estate stuff. I did versions. Couples do this. We're practical people. Not with my name as a conduit, Marcus said. He reached across the plate and tapped the header with one finger. You wrote, through Marcus. My name, my life. It's a placeholder, she said. It means via family cooperation. It means exactly what it says, he said. You used me. Leonard exhaled softly. Let's slow down, he said. Everything is very sharp right now. We're looking at pieces without the whole. The whole is in the fourth folder, I said, and set controls on the table. Banknotes, dual verbal approvals, governance locks. No more movement without me in the room. Leonard's eyes flashed. That's humiliating, he said. That's careful, I said. It protects everyone. From whom? He asked. From haste, I said. He leaned forward, palms flat. This is a charade. I met with a trainer who happens to prefer hotel cafes. We use the copy center because our printer streaks. I asked about financial stability in case you decided to be done. That is prudence. A husband is allowed to be prudent. A husband is not allowed to build a petition using his son, Marcus said. A draft, Leonard said. Mock-ups. We considered options. You plan leases. We planned futures. You're shaming me for thinking. Who wrote 60-40 split? I asked the first of the 3 questions. I kept my voice even. Leonard looked right at me. Family budget, he said. We used a ratio to think about giving and saving. It's not an affidavit, it's napkin math. On whose napkin? Marcus asked. Diana lifted her hands like a traffic cop. Everyone breathe. Even if the optics look bad, none of this is illegal. We're just talking. Dorothy, I can talk to your counsel and keep this private. We can make a plan that honors. No, I said. Second question. I tapped the header again. Why is Marcus's name in your draft? Leonard's jaw tightened. Because he is the bridge between us, he said. And for the first time, the tone went brittle. Because he loves you and you listen to him. Because our lives go through him now. You used me, Marcus repeated steady. You put me in a box next to business assets. It was a placeholder, Leonard said again. You're making it ugly. It is ugly, Marcus said. You made it. Diana reached for his wrist. She's turning you against him, she said softly. This is what happens when people collect paper. It makes you hard. Marcus withdrew his hand. Don't touch me, he said. You wrote it. Own it. She swallowed. I was trying to protect your father. From what? I asked. From you, she said, finally looking at me. From the day you wake up and decide you're done and leave him with nothing. He has half our life, I said. He has more than half of it in his calendars, his church, his friends. He has his own spine. He didn't need your drafts. He needed structure, she said. Look at you. You build structures when you're scared. So does he. Third question, I said, not looking away from Leonard. Why after the close? He didn't answer right away. The room heard the house settle. A faucet somewhere dripped once and stopped. Leonard's eyes went to the candle, then back to me. Timing matters, he said finally. Everyone knows that. You always said to finish one thing before starting another. So you finished this marriage after you finished my deal, I said. He sat back. I didn't say that, he said. You did, I said. You just used different words. Marcus pushed his chair back an inch. Dad, he said. I love you. I will always love you. But if you aim this thing at me one more time, if you use me to pry Mom's business open, I will file papers of my own. Diana's smile turned to a tight line. Be careful, she said. Don't threaten what you can't. I can, he said. And I will. Leonard's face changed. A new calculation clicked into place. You're being dramatic, Marcus, he said. We're a family. We protect each other. No, Marcus said. We tell the truth. Diana reached for the wine she'd brought. Maybe a glass will. Leave it, I said. We don't need numbness. She set the bottle down hard enough to make the candle flutter. She looked at Leonard. He looked at her. The glance was a rope thrown across the table and pulled back when it didn't catch. I opened the 5th folder. Correspondence, I said. HOA notice about an unregistered guest vehicle in our driveway last night. Partial plate. Time matches when the neighbor dropped by and the moment Leonard's schedule went dark. Insurance call about a rider change. Medicare billing attempt. Bank blocks on a new external account from a community bank in the Midwest. All logged, all timed. Leonard laughed once. It was a light sound with rough edges. You made a play, he said. You waited until you had props. You always did love a presentation. I love clocks, I said. He folded his hands in his lap and found calm again, like a teacher deciding to keep his voice even. Here's my truth, he said. I felt lonely. I felt old. I said yes when Charm found me in a gym. She is kind. She tells me I can be more than a host and a calendar. I wanted to feel alive, and I paid for it. $3,000 monthly is cheaper than a heart attack. Health isn't a cafe, I said. And it isn't a hotel. It is where I say it is, he said, heat returning. You weren't there. You could have asked me to be, I said. I did, he said. You were marrying a building. You could have left, I said. Instead, you built a case, he said. I built an option, he said. In case you left me. By writing through Marcus? Marcus asked. By drawing arrows? Leonard didn't blink. Everyone uses bridges, he said. You use yours. Something in Marcus's face closed. He took off his napkin like a bandage and set it on his plate. Diana shifted. Let's be adults, she said. We can draw this out forever, or we can settle tonight. No one needs court. We can agree on a 60/40th split. No, I said. She raised a palm. Dorothy. No, I said again. You don't set my ratios. You don't set my life. She turned to Marcus, lowered her voice like she was offering a secret. I can make this painless, she said. Let me. He looked at her the way you look at a stranger who knows your name. You already made it painful, he said. We're done. Don't say that, she said. You're upset. I'm clear, he said. He stood. I'll pack a bag and go to my place tonight. Leonard stood too, hands out. Marcus, don't. Please, Marcus said. Leonard's fingers curled back to his palms. For a second, I saw the person he had been at 25, fierce and alive, and sure he could charm his way through any door. The door stayed shut. Outside, a car rolled by slow. Our neighbor's porch light clicked on. The house across the street had the HOA camera pointed toward the lot. It captured comings and goings whether you asked or not. I thought of footage that would exist tomorrow if anyone wanted it. Leonard found a last reserve of calm. Dorothy, he said, coached and careful. We can pray about this. We can speak to the mediator at church. She knows us. She'll hear what we put in front of her, I said. So will a judge if we go there. Either way, the truth doesn't change. He took in the folders, the candles, our plates. You want to humiliate me, he said softly. I want to make it stop, I said. I want the next thing to be honest. Diana put her hands on the back of her chair and leaned in like a person about to whisper. Dorothy, she said. Let me draft an agreement. We can stipulate to possession and support and get out ahead. You'll come out fine. Marcus laughed once without humor. The false savior speaks, he said. No, she straightened. I'm trying to help. You tried, he said. Now stop. I stacked the folders in order and slid them back into the box. The room felt larger without the paper on the table, as if a stage set had been struck. Here's what happens, I said. Tomorrow, I call a lawyer. I file what I need to file. You, Leonard, call whoever you need to call. If you want to talk terms, we talk terms. If you want to fight, we fight, but we won't pretend. Leonard's mouth opened and closed once. You would do this to us. You did this to us, I said. He lifted his chin. Then be clear, he said. Say the line you've been saving. I met his eyes. Call a lawyer, Leonard. You're going to need one. Silence held. The candle flickered and steadied. Diana looked at Marcus and saw a door closing. He didn't open it. Our neighbor's steps sounded on the porch, hesitant, then retreating. Later, she would admit she'd come to return a dish and heard voices layered like music. Later still, the HOA email would add a note about cars again, as if the street itself were keeping minutes. Leonard reached for the matches and snuffed the lone flame with 2 fingers, shook them dry, and set the spent wick on a saucer. Dinner's over, he said. Yes, I said. It is. The court. Leonard was at the stove when I came down, stirring oatmeal like a nurse. Sleep? He asked, eyes on the pot. Enough, I said. We were all heated, he said. I said things, you said things. We can choose a softer morning. I'm seeing an attorney at 9, I said. He set the spoon down like a gavel. You'd really do that? I'm already doing it. Then I'll call the mediator, he said, chin lifting. And the choir. People can pray for us, for you. Ask them to pray for the truth, I said. Nothing else. He held my eyes a beat too long. You're trying to scare me with paper, he said. I won't be scared. It isn't about fear, I said. It's about facts. He smiled small and bright, the kind you wear to a funeral. Facts bend, he said. People bend them. Not all of us, I said. He looked at the clock and softened his voice. Eat before you go, he said. It's a long day. I will, I said and didn't. Harriet Pierce kept an office that smelled like legal pads. No trophies, no family photos, a coat tree with only her coat on it. Tell me everything, she said, yellow pad ready. I gave her the short road. The banner, the 60-40 split, the hotel cafe, the $3,000 monthly, the red well with, through Marcus, the copy center ticket, the governance locks, the dinner. I slid the 5 folders across like a dealer. She read in silence, lips moving at the numbers. When she looked up, her voice was even. Adultery plus conspiracy to divert assets, she said. You have corroboration without overreach. Judges like this kind of work. What happens if we file? I asked. We file emergency temporary orders today, she said. Status quo on accounts, no dissipation, no new debts, exclusive control of the business to you until hearing. We attach your PI's affidavit, the statements, and the copy center paper. Then we serve. Children? I asked. Grown, she said, flipping a page. So it's property, conduct, and restraint. What do we risk? Public discomfort, she said. And cost. Everything else tilts your way. How far? She didn't look away. If your judge is who I think, you're looking at 80% retention on business, retirement, and real property, plus fee shifting for the misconduct. That's a prediction, not a promise. Good enough, I said. We also open a bar complaint on Diana, she added, pen steady. Unauthorized practice. Maybe not neat, but drafting her father-in-law's petition, using her husband as a conduit, lying by omission to your face. There are rules about conflicts and conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice. We let the state decide where she fits. I don't want a witch hunt, I said. This isn't that, she said. It's accountability with exhibits. I nodded. I'll need Tonya's affidavit. Get me her full name and license, Harriet said. I'll draft the jurat and have a notary waiting. She stacked my folders in a new order, court order, exhibits, financials, and squared the edges with the heel of her hand. Are you ready to sign? Yes, I said. Her paralegal appeared like she'd been behind the door all morning. She slid forms, tabs, and a pen to me. Blue ink, she said. Please. I signed where she pointed. She circled 2 blocks with her finger. These make the orders effective on entry, she said. Initial here and here. Done, I said. Harriet flipped his pad closed. One more thing, she said. Social Security deposit. When does yours hit? Second Wednesday, I said. Next week. Leave it alone, she said. Don't move anything automatic. Judges hate games with fixed income deposits. We make a point of that at hearing. You didn't starve anyone. Understood, I said. She looked almost kind. Go get your PI, she said. Bring her back here. We'll file by lunch, serve by late afternoon. If he's telling stories at church, the timeline will help. Tonya met me on the sidewalk outside a notary stand. She had a folder in her hand and a look like a person who'd slept in her car by choice. You want the formal version, she said. Dates, times, places, what I saw, what I didn't. She handed me 3 typed pages and a single photo clipped to the top. Leonard at the cafe table. Timestamp crisp. I left out names except the companion's first name. You can decide if you want the last. Not yet, I said. Just the proof. We stepped into the notary and watched a woman in a sweater stamp stickers like blessings. Tonya raised her hand, swore to the truth, signed. The stamp hit the page and left a mark the size of a silver dollar. Outside, she nodded toward my briefcase. You're filing today. I am, I said. Stand by for service. Want me at church? She asked. Not inside, I said. But if he spins, people will text. You'll know where to be. She tucked her hands in her pockets. This part always feels bad, she said. The moment paper meets home. I know, I said. Do it anyway. Back at Harriet's, we assembled the bundle. She added the notary pages to the PI section, attached my HOA email, and slid the copy center ticket behind the red well photos. Clerk's office by noon, she said, tightening a clip. Then the judge's coordinator. If the docket's light, we get a date fast. Her paralegal smiled in a way that was both professional and human. I'll walk it down, she said. You don't need to wait. I'll wait, I said. Harriet glanced at my face. Walk with her, she said. Better than pacing this carpet. We crossed the street and stepped into a building that cooled your blood by design. The clerk stamped, initialed, flipped. The coordinator took our packet with a nod. We can do Monday, she said. 9 a.m. Judge Keaton. Sooner than I expected, I said. New docket, she said. Enjoy your weekend. She didn't mean it. On the way back up, my phone lit with 3 messages in quick succession. Marcus, Dad just posted a prayer request in the choir chat. Please pray. My wife is closing her heart and her wallet to our home. I'm afraid. He added a sad face. Ruby forwarded. Dad called me crying. Said you're freezing his cards. He wants me to talk to you. Should I? Unknown number. This is Denise from church. I facilitate the couples group. Can you talk? Harriet read over my shoulder. There it is, she said. The polite smear. Let me answer, I said. I wrote to Ruby. You don't have to mediate. I love you. We'll talk tonight. I'll show you my filings. To Marcus, don't engage in the thread. To Denise, 2 p.m. church office. I'll bring neutral proof. Please ask Leonard to come. She replied fast. I already did. He's on his way here. Harriet capped her pen. Bring the cafe still and the through Marcus header, she said. Nothing else. And the $3,000 monthly line, I said. She nodded. Yes. People count better than they pass. At 12:30, my bank called. Mrs. Johnson, the manager said carefully. Your shared Visa pinged 3 times at the grocery and then again at a boutique. Our note flagged dual verbal off, so the system paused it. Leave the pause, I said. I'll reimburse the grocery with a debit at the counter. Understood, he said. Your husband may call. He will, I said and hung up. My phone rang before I put it down. You froze my card in public, Leonard said, voice tight with embarrassment and rage braided together. At the store. The cashier said, declined like a bell. It's a temporary hold, I said. Emergency orders are filed. I'll reimburse the groceries when I stop by. You can use your own card for personal items. You did this so people would see me stumble, he said. You want me small. I want a safe, I said. This slows the money until the court speaks. You're cruel, he said. I asked for prayer. They're already responding. Maybe someone will remember you need a softer heart. I have a clear head, I said. 2 o'clock at the church office. Denise asked. I'll be there, he said, and hung up before I could say anything else. The church office had soft chairs and a framed verse about kindness. Denise greeted Leonard with the same warmth she gave me. She was good at pretending every conversation started at 0. I'm not here to referee, she said, hands open. Only to help you hear each other. I'm listening, Leonard said. He had dressed for sympathy. Blue shirt, small watch, the look of a person trying not to cry. Dorothy is closing accounts. She's punishing me because she's angry. I'm maintaining status quo, I said. I pulled 2 pages from a thin envelope and placed them between us. 1 photo with a timestamp, 1 draft header with our son's name used as a conduit, and a single line from our statements. $3,000 monthly to a wellness LLC. Denise glanced at the pages and kept her face still. Leonard. He didn't touch the paper. A trainer, he said. A program, a mock-up. I told you that. She nodded once. Then it should be easy to show receipts that match your explanation, she said. Would you be willing to do that privately so I can help? He faltered just a breath. This is not a trial, he said. We came for prayer. We came for truth, I said. Denise folded her hands. I won't host gossip, she said gently. I saw the group thread. I will ask the choir to refrain from taking sides and to remove the post. Your marriage is not a public project. Leonard stared at her. You're choosing her. I'm choosing boundaries, she said quietly. And I'm asking both of you to be honest with me, not with a circle of 50 people. He stood abruptly. I have rehearsal, he said. Pray for us if you must, but don't scold me in my church. No scolding, Denise said. Just a request. I'll follow up by email. He left a draft of cologne and a hard silence. Denise waited until the door closed. I don't adjudicate, she said to me. But I won't be used for defamation. I'll send a note to the group in 20 minutes. Thank you, I said. Please be gentle. Gentle and firm, she said like teeth. Marcus met me at the bank after. We stood in line behind two people buying cashier's checks and one man asking about coins. When it was our turn, the manager lifted the rope for us like we were moving furniture. I'll cover the groceries, I said. Leave the hold on the shared card. He nodded. Done. Also, I said, my Social Security deposit hits next week. Leave it in place. No transfers, no offsets. He smiled. Look at you trusting the government, he said. For once, I said. Outside, Marcus linked his arm in mine like he had when he was 9 and scared of crossing a busy street. How did the church go? He asked. He asked for prayer, I said. Denise asked for honesty. She'll send a note. Good, he said. He'll hate that. People not taking a side is not his favorite. He wanted a story, I said. He's not getting it today. We walked past a window where the reflection made us look like a pair of detectives on a lunch break. It made me sad and proud at the same time. My phone chimed. Denise's email hit my inbox and seconds later, the choir thread. Friends, we don't carry fragile things in public. Please remove prayer requests that name others without consent. We will pray for peace and truth for this family. No speculation, no sides. Marcus grinned without humor. The mediator sided with the facts, he said. Publicly. Reversal, I said. Nice word, he said. Harriet called at 4. We have a hearing date, she said. Monday, 9 a.m. Judge Keaton. I thought we'd get a week. You got a weekend, I said. Service. I asked. Process server is en route, she said. We'll have him sign for the packet by dinner. I'll be home, I said. Don't be the one who opens the door, she said. Let the law do its job. She paused. One last thing, expect an outreach. Opposing counsel likes to call before service to open lines. Don't engage if it isn't calendared. Understood, I said. We hung up. I checked my watch and drove home in time to see Leonard in the front yard cutting daisies that didn't belong to us. He looked up when my car crunched the gravel. Watch your step, he said. The sprinkler head is loose. I see it, I said. He set the shears down. I shouldn't have posted, he said, voice light again. But you humiliated me. The card, the bank, the box on my table. I did what I had to do to not feel alone. You had me, I said. You still do if you tell the truth. You mean your truth, he said. The one with stamps. It's the only one I'll live with, I said. A sedan pulled up with a magnet on the door. Process service in plain letters. A woman stepped out with a clipboard and a canvas bag. She was polite and efficient. Mr. Johnson? She asked. Leonard's smile snapped back into place. Yes. The woman handed him a packet, explained the basics in a voice as neutral as an elevator. Emergency orders, hearing date, obligation to preserve assets. Leonard signed the green card and held the envelope like it might bite. You did this, he said to me after the car left. No, I said. The court did. He pressed the envelope against his chest. What do I tell the choir? Tell them nothing, I said. Tell the court the truth. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He didn't look at it. You could have just trusted me, he said. You could have believed the best. I did, I said, for a long time. He looked past me at the house like it belonged to a different story. If you think this makes you noble, you're wrong, he said quietly. It makes you cold. I'm warm with our son, I said. I'll be warm with the judge if I can. Everything else is temperature control. He shook his head and walked inside without another word. I stood in the fading light, listened to the neighbor's dog bark, and watched the mailbox flag sit at half-mast. The sprinkler coughed once and then settled. My phone buzzed. Harriet. Service complete. See you Monday at 8:15 in the hallway outside 3B. Bring nothing but your ID. I have everything else. I typed copy. Marcus. How did he take it? Like a person holding a live wire, I wrote. We're set for Monday. He sent back a single line I could hear in his voice. Court date sooner than anyone expected. Monday. The courtroom. The courthouse lobby had the smell of paper and old polish. I got there at 8:15 as Harriet asked and stood under a directory that listed floors like commandments. She joined me with a slim binder and a calm face. Breathe, she said. I am, I said. Good, she said. Don't stop. The elevator doors slid open on 3. Outside 3B, the hallway windows looked down on a plaza where pigeons arranged themselves like jurors. Marcus arrived with coffee I didn't drink and set his hand on my sleeve. You ready? He asked. Yes, I said. Leonard came off the elevator with his attorney at his elbow and a face built for sympathy. Blue shirt, hair neat, eyes soft. He saw me and walked straight across the tile. We can end this quietly, he said. Right now. No one needs a scene. Tell the truth, I said. There's no scene in that. His smile cooled. You brought the box, he said. I brought a binder, I said, and Harriet answered the rest with her presence. The clerk opened the courtroom door. We filed in and took our places. Harriet and I at one table, Leonard and opposing counsel at the other. Marcus sat behind me with Tonya, who looked like a substitute teacher in a plain jacket. Diana chose the second row, aisle seat, as if ready to spring. Judge Keaton entered with a small stack of files and a face that announced she didn't plan to waste anyone's morning. We stood, we sat. The clerk read the cause number like a weather report. Appearances, the judge said. Harriet stood. Harriet Pierce for the petitioner, Your Honor, with Mrs. Johnson present. Opposing counsel stood. Paula Nix for respondent with Mr. Johnson present. The judge glanced at the docket. We're here on emergency temporary orders and related relief. I have read both filings. Ms. Pierce, I'll hear from you. Harriet rose without a rustle. Your Honor, this is an application to maintain the status quo and prevent dissipation of assets in a long-term marriage. The evidence is straightforward. Respondent's ongoing affair documented by photographs. Recurring payments of $3,000 monthly to a third-party wellness LLC. A draft petition prepared by the daughter-in-law earmarking petitioner's business assets, through Marcus to be filed after the close of a transaction expected to yield $2 million. We ask for exclusive management and control of the business to remain with petitioner, a freeze on extraordinary expenditures, and a mutual injunction against harassment. Ms. Nix stood. Your Honor, we object to the characterization. My client met with a fitness consultant, participated in a holistic program, and explored financial planning concepts. There was no dissipation. There is no affair. The photos show coffee in a public place. The drafts are just that, drafts. We ask the court to deny overbroad orders and admonish petitioner for surveilling her husband and poisoning a church community against him. Judge Keaton turned to the clerk. Let's see the exhibits. The monitors warmed. Harriet's first photo filled the screen. Leonard at the hotel cafe. Timestamp crisp in the corner. Another angle followed. The companion's watch, the menu, the posture that says two people know each other. Ms. Pierce, the judge said. Exhibit 1, she said. Taken 2 days in a row. Timestamps matched to card statements. I'll call Ms. Chen. Tonya took the stand, swore, sat, and testified like she wrote her sentences down first. Dates, times, locations, how she positions herself, what she does not do. Harriet kept it short. You took these photographs? Yes. You matched the time to the card ledger? Yes. Did you observe any other meetings? Yes. Where? In the lobby on the same days. Do your records reflect this? They do. Ms. Nix tried to open the door to gossip. Tonya shut it with the same even tone. I don't guess motives, she said. I record places. The judge watched her face and wrote. Harriet moved to the statements. The monitor switched to a ledger page, cafe charges stacked in neat lines, then the recurring $3,000 monthly to the Wellness LLC. Ms. Pierce, the judge said. What is this LLC? Public-facing site for a discreet personal training and peak performance service, Your Honor, she said. We have screenshots in Exhibit 3. Ms. Nix stood. Objection to characterization. Sustained, the judge said. I can read the words on the screen without help. Harriet nodded unbothered. Exhibit 4, she said. And the copy center receipt appeared. Diana's name, time, job description, petition PKG, copies, 2 sets. Then the red well page, the header with through Marcus, the margin arrow from close to file. A small sound moved across the room. It could have been the building. It felt like a thought. Ms. Nix stood again. Your Honor, we object to the admission of alleged drafts from a third party not before the court and not shown to be created for or at the direction of my client. I'll call Mr. Johnson, Harriet said. Marcus took the stand, swore, and sat. Harriet kept the thread tight. You saw this red well? Yes. Where? On my wife's desk. She's an associate at a North Side family law firm. Was your name on a sticky note at first? Later it was a header. Yes. What did it say? Through Marcus. How did you feel? Used, he said. Then cleaner. It was clear she planned to use me to pressure my mother's business after the close. Ms. Nix rose for cross. Mr. Johnson, you dislike your wife at the moment, don't you? Marcus's mouth quirked. At the moment, yes. And you came here to help your mother win. I came here to tell the truth. Ms. Nix held up the copy center ticket. You didn't generate this, she said. You're attributing it to. The clerk used her name when I called to ask about a reprint, Marcus said. He said, Diana's job. Objection. Hearsay, Ms. Nix said. Sustained, the judge said. We'll stick to what the witness saw. Marcus stayed steady. Harriet sat. Ms. Nix sat. The judge wrote again. Harriet called me last. I kept to nouns and times. You are the sole managing member of the business? Yes. Any movement of core assets without you? No. What did you do when you saw $3,000 monthly? Locked approvals. Dual verbal authorization. You filed today to maintain status quo? That's all, Harriet said. Ms. Nix approached with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Mrs. Johnson, you dislike your husband's new routines, don't you? I dislike lies, I said. You hired a private investigator to follow him, she said. That's invasive. I collected facts. You froze a card at the grocery store, she said. That was humiliating. I reimbursed the groceries at the counter, I said. The hold prevents dissipation. You asked the church mediator to shut down prayer, she said. I asked her to stop a public smear, I said. She flipped a page as if the next question might redeem the last. Your Social Security deposit hits next week? Yes. Did you move it? No. No further questions, she said. Judge Keaton looked at Leonard. Does respondent wish to testify? Ms. Nix leaned in. Leonard leaned back. They spoke under their breath. Ms. Nix stood. On advice of counsel, respondent declines at this time. Harriet rose. Your Honor, may I note the court may draw a negative inference in a civil matter when a party refuses to testify concerning matters peculiarly within their knowledge? Ms. Nix bristled. We're not invoking a privilege, she said. We're declining to participate in a rushed spectacle. The judge held up a hand. I'm capable of weighing silence, she said. Sit. We broke for lunch. In the hallway, Leonard found me before the door clicked shut. You didn't have to do this, he said. You could have forgiven me in private. You could have told me in private, I said. He stepped closer. Call off your dog, he said, chin toward Tonya. She's making people stare. She's a witness, I said. She's also a person. His voice dropped. We can settle this. 60/40th split. No court. No more pictures. No, I said. He tried warmth. Dorothy, please. For me, for Marcus. I said no. Her eyes flashed once. You'll regret making me small, he said, and walked away on high-controlled steps. I ate a sandwich on a bench alcove that looked like a niche for a saint. My phone buzzed. Bank manager. Attempted beneficiary change on retirement during lunch hour. Denied. Clerk note added. Per file. Call Mrs. Johnson. I texted Harriet the screenshot. She answered with a single period, and 2 minutes later a printed copy courtesy of a runner. Back in the courtroom, the judge took the bench like she'd never left. Anything further before argument? Harriet held up the banknote. Supplemental exhibit, Your Honor. Goes to intent and the need for injunctive relief. Ms. Nix frowned. Foundation. Custodian of records letter attached, Harriet said. And it occurred during our lunch recess. The judge glanced, flipped, nodded. Admitted for the limited purpose of injunctive relief, she said. Harriet's argument was short and clean. Your Honor, this is not about blame today. It's about locks, she said. There's an ongoing relationship, money moving, planning that leverages a son, through Marcus, and a targeted timing after the close. The business runs on predictability. My client asks to keep the wheel until trial and to restrict surprise. Ms. Nix went wide. Your Honor, my client is being punished for attending to his health, she said. He is being punished for thinking about budgets. He is being punished for a wife who prefers buildings to people and would rather litigate than love. The court should not reward surveillance and control. The judge looked at the monitors again, then at Leonard, then at me. She stacked the filings and tapped the top sheet once with her index finger. Before I hear from counsel one last time, she said, I need to address something that occurred this morning. Her eyes moved to Diana. Ma'am, stand. Diana stood like a person told a story would not include her, then finding it does. You sent an email to my coordinator at 9:17 a.m. titled, Context for 3B, Confidential, the judge said. You are not counsel of record. You are a party's relation. The court does not receive ex parte communications. Her face went blank. I thought. She didn't let her finish. You thought wrong, she said. If you contact my chambers again, I will issue an order to show cause why you should not be sanctioned. Sit down. She sat small. Leonard stared at his hands. Ms. Nix stared at the table. Harriet stared at a fixed point near the seal on the wall like a woman who has seen this before. Closing, the judge said. Harriet rose. We ask the court to grant the requested orders and set an early status conference. Ms. Nix stood. We ask the court to deny most of it, limit any freeze to 30 days, and admonish petitioner. The judge nodded once. I've read. I've heard. She lifted the file. Leonard leaned toward me, whispering without moving his mouth. Last chance, Dorothy, he said. Walk with me out of here and we'll settle it our way. No headlines, no neighbors knowing. I don't write headlines, I said. I sign orders. His hand found my sleeve like an old habit. Please, he said. I looked at the hand and then at the bench. No. Judge Keaton raised the gavel. The room held its breath. The gavel dropped. Status quo injunctions are granted. Exclusive management and control of the business remains with petitioner. Extraordinary expenditures enjoined. Counsel fees reserved pending final division of the marital estate. The court finds that petitioner has carried her burden on conduct, waste risk, and contribution. The documentary record is consistent, recurring $3,000 monthly to a third-party service, corroborated meetings, and planning aimed after the close routing assets through Marcus. Credibility weighs accordingly. Final division. 80-20 division favoring petitioner. Retirement, business interests, and real property remain principally with petitioner. Personal property and reasonable support to respondent as detailed in the order. Both parties are admonished. Comply, preserve, and refrain from community theater. That is the ruling. The room didn't move for a beat. Then paper rustled like wind in leaves. Leonard turned toward me without turning his whole head. You wanted a headline, he said. You got one. I wanted the truth, I said. He looked past me to Marcus. You did this, he said quietly. You took her side. Marcus kept his hands folded. I took my own side, he said. It happened to be Mom's. Ms. Nix leaned in. We'll appeal, she whispered. Leonard swallowed it like a pill. Do it, he said. Harriet's hand rested on the binder. Thank you, Your Honor, she said. Prepare the order, Judge Keaton said. I'll sign before close of business. She stood. We stood. The seal on the wall went still again. In the hallway, Leonard's stage face flickered, then locked back on. He stepped into my path. Congratulations, he said. You beat your husband with paper. I protected what I built, I said. And I stopped a lie. He took a breath, held it, released it. You will not make me beg, he said. I will never beg you. I didn't ask you to, I said. He laughed once, short. Church will love this. Church will survive this, I said. So will we. Diana slid up beside him like a person who thinks proximity equals influence. Let me get ahead of the order, she murmured. And we can shape language. Harriet stepped between us with nothing more than a posture. Do not speak to my client, she said. Ever. Diana's chin tipped. I'm family. You're a witness, Harriet said. And a problem for your partners. Diana blinked. What? Harriet's phone vibrated. She glanced, then handed me the screen. A forwarded email time-stamped 10 minutes earlier from a senior partner at Diana's firm to the managing partner list. Effective immediately, Ms. Richards is relieved of client-facing duties pending internal review related to conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice. Security will facilitate retrieval of personal items. Diana read the preview over my shoulder. Her face emptied then filled too fast. That's political, she said. That's not. I can fix. You sent an ex parte, Harriet said. To a court. In writing. With your name. Diana looked to Leonard for a rope. He didn't have one. He stared at me instead and his eyes said something I hadn't seen in months. Not charm, not calculation. Loss. Marcus, he said. Come with me. We can talk without these women. No, Marcus said. Not today. Tonya drifted down the hall like a person who stays in the corner of photographs. You good? She asked me. I'm upright, I said. Good, she said. Because there's one more thing. After. Harriet filed the proposed order at the clerk's window. We waited on a bench with a potted plant that pretended not to be dying. Tonya slid a plain envelope across my knee. Trainer's full name, she said. Employment details. The gym posted a showcase photo this morning. Your subject liked it from a public account. I printed it in case someone deletes it. I didn't open the envelope. We don't need to say her name out loud, I said. Agreed, Tonya said. But you should know she texted your husband at lunch. I caught the banner. You okay? You looked pale. Thank you, I said. She nodded at Diana through the glass, already on a call, pacing tight circles. There's also a message from a copy center clerk, Tonya added. Your daughter-in-law's job was flagged internally. Someone's compliance brain clicked after they saw the name on today's docket. Expect an inquiry. Bar complaint. I asked. Harriet rejoined us with a stamped copy. Already drafted, she said, sliding a second folder into my hands. Filed this afternoon with exhibits. The copy center ticket, the draft header through Marcus, and the email to Chambers. It isn't vengeance, it's housekeeping. Tonya tipped 2 fingers in a quiet salute and peeled off toward the exit. She had the look of a person who disappears when the job changes shape. By mid-afternoon, the signed order hit Harriet's inbox and mine. The subject line was a simple order signed, Johnson versus Johnson. She printed 2 extra and handed one to Marcus. You keep it, she said. If anyone tries to move you through a plan again, show them this. He folded it like a map and slid it into his tote. I will, he said. The settlement talks were quiet because paper had already spoken. Harriet ran point with a voice that never rose. You can fight the order, she said to Ms. Nix on speaker. Or you can fill in the soft parts and move on. We filled them in. A modest time-limited support number, a schedule for shared family events, an exchange protocol for belongings, no adjectives. Denise from church sent a note to the choir, not asking this time. Telling. Prayer does not require a plot. Remove posts. Bring soup. 2 ladies dropped lasagna the same day. I ate some and froze the rest. Neutral meals arrived with neutral faces. It helped. The bank behaved like a gate. The Social Security deposit landed the next week and I let it sit where it was, untouched. My controller emailed a tiny thumbs-up emoji I wasn't sure he meant to send. I left it alone. A letter arrived on Diana's office letterhead, then on plain paper with the return address missing. Notice of administrative leave pending review. 2 days later, Harriet forwarded a line from the state. Complaint received. We didn't say her name out loud in our house. We didn't need to. Maya, the trainer, left a voicemail with a smile in it. Just checking on outstanding balance, she said. We can do installments. I didn't call back. A week later, the jeweler called instead, a polite clerk reading a policy about refunds on special orders. We can do a store credit, she offered. We just can't, she trailed off. I thanked her and hung up. Sometimes mercy is a full stop. The HOA sent a bulletin, glossy and earnest. New guest vehicle policy. A cartoon sedan sat under a banner. Register before you park. Our neighbor waved it at me across the street like a prize. Progress, she said. Also, my hydrangeas forgive you for that one time you parked crooked. Tell them I'm reformed, I said. At work, the Michigan Avenue wire cleared across my screen like a tide rolling in. People clapped in the conference room. I shook hands, ate a dry cookie, and signed new tenant papers for a corner space we'd been trying to fill since winter. The new tenant walked the unit with me, palms open, measuring light, promising foot traffic and fresh paint. We shook on it like people who want their work to show. When the office quieted, I printed 1 copy of Judge Keaton's order and slid it into a folder labeled Keep. Then I put the controls binder back where it had lived before this started. It felt like tucking a guard dog into its kennel after a long night. Leonard asked for a final talk 2 weeks later. The park, he said. By the water. No lawyers. Then witness and timer, I said. Your terms. He was learning my language. I chose a bench near the path where joggers provide their own security. Denise sat at a respectful distance with a cup and a stopwatch app, the green numbers visible when she lifted her wrist for a sip. I put my phone on the bench between us and tapped a 30-minute timer. Leonard smoothed his pants and looked at the lake like it could answer him. We were a good team, he said. We forgot how to be. We can still be good parents, I said, and decent former spouses. He turned, searching my face for a soft place. Is there a version of this where we try again? No, I said. There's a version where we do this without cruelty. His mouth tightened, then relaxed. I wanted to be admired, he said. I wanted someone to tell me I could be new. I let the wrong person write the story. I wanted to be safe, I said. I let paper do the talking. He laughed once, not unkind. We're consistent, he said. We set terms that weren't about money or furniture. I promised to keep holidays calm and not measure Christmas by court orders. He promised to leave Marcus out of logistics that weren't his, and to stop telling stories that turned neighbors into juries. I offered a modest, time-limited support buffer beyond what the order required. Short, clear, no interest, automatic end. He accepted without asking for a number on top. Thank you, he said, and for the first time in a long time, it sounded like gratitude instead of negotiation. At 29 minutes, Denise lifted her wrist a little higher. Leonard watched the green numbers run down. One last thing, he said. When people ask me why, what do I say? Say we changed, I said. Say we told the truth too late. He nodded. I can live with that. He stood, looked at the water, and then at me. Don't make me a villain in your head, he said. I don't want to live there like that. I won't, I said. I'll make you past tense. The timer chimed. Denise stood, not smiling, not sad, just present. We walked back toward the gate. At the entrance, Leonard touched my sleeve like muscle memory and let go. The house. Marcus came by with a roll of tape and a label maker, and we finished the house. We left empty frames in a box labeled Future. We kept the chipped blue bowl. We set aside the wedding china for Ruby if she ever wanted it. We laughed once when we both reached for the same ugly mug with a cracked handle. I let him win. The room looked lighter with fewer promises in it. I filed my change of name, Marcus said quietly an hour later at the kitchen island. It felt like taking back a middle initial I never liked. You don't have to apologize for anything, I said. I'm not, he said. I'm telling you so you don't hear it from a clerk. We ate eggs and strawberries because they were there. He set the order's sign page beside his plate like a placemat and traced the seal with one finger. Are you okay? He asked. I'm better than okay, I said. I'm precise. He grinned. Dangerous. Useful, I said. On a Tuesday, Denise's group sent a message. We're praying for a boring week for everyone. Someone added, Amen, and a grocery list for a family on bed rest. The thread felt like a town doing its job. On a Friday, an envelope arrived addressed to me in Leonard's familiar hand. Inside was a key on a ring and a single line. I'm choosing scheduled access. Please use the calendar. It was the nicest sentence he'd written me in months. I put the key in the dish and the card in the keep folder. On a Sunday, the neighbor knocked with a bulletin. They printed a parking explainer, she said, laughing. It's adorable. The HOA had drawn stick figures walking to a guest sign-in like a parade. We stuck it on the fridge with a magnet shaped like a lighthouse. I liked the joke. On a Monday, Harriet texted, Bar acknowledged receipt. No timeline promised. I replied with a period. Sometimes a period is prayer enough. On a Wednesday, the jeweler called again, this time to confirm they declined a dispute. Policy, not spite, the clerk said. We wish your family peace. The sentence was so careful it made me put my hand on the counter. On a Thursday, the new tenant signed the final page. I handed over keys with numbers engraved on tiny brass ovals and shook hands with a woman who'd learned the rent by heart. We'll bring plants, she said. People like signs of life. I agreed. That afternoon, I walked the building alone, turned off lights, and checked doors. The hall smelled faintly of paint and beginnings. I stopped outside my office and looked at the frosted glass. My name, my hours, nothing about who I was to anyone else. I went in and stood behind my desk without sitting. Boxes were gone. The runner was gone. The pen cup held only pens that worked. I opened the window an inch and let the city say its piece. Buses, a far siren, footsteps, a dog barking like it meant it. My phone stayed face down. The controls binder sat back on the shelf between leases and vendors where it belonged. The order lived in keep. The blue tape in the foyer was almost gone. I turned the blinds until the light made even stripes on the floor. Then I crossed the room, turned the deadbolt, and set my palm against cool metal long enough to know it. I locked the office, and for the first time in months, the silence felt honest. If this story resonated with you, leave a like and consider subscribing. You can also drop any comment below, even just one word. Maybe tell me where you're watching from or what time it is right now. Sometimes one word is enough to say you were here.